Scene is set for Perth by night. Rafat Duta, the Tremere Primogen, is meeting with two of the Brujah in the trench. It's not open tonight. Rafat's going to be spending most of the night making sure that the Sabbat have left town, as one of them promised they would. But Istvan wanted to speak with him, so they're meeting in a trench, a little place ways, and Istvan's bringing his little protege with him. So as they go along, going to the area, Judgment notices you're going through a relatively nice area near the university, and then when Istvan brings them along, he will see that you're going to a rather secluded area. Matthew's fairly observant about different things, so he's probably going to notice there's a few security cameras and other security measures, and eventually this van, having been here before, I believe, will lead him to a door. A piece of metal slides past. There's still rather thick glass, and Rafat will look out, and he kind of stares at them both for a few moments, and then he has a small mirror where he's checking, and then he kind of nods before he opens the door. Gentlemen, please come in. We're not open for business tonight, so we can dispense with the normal rules, but I'll explain those to our new friend, so he'll know for next time. But please, come in, gentlemen.
Istvan is carrying his same old big duffel bag. He comes in.
And Matthew will take off his fedora and put it under one arm.
My name
Excuse me,
is...
sir, is there a place you would like me to put my sidearm?
Not tonight. We don't have... we're not holding business. Normally we deal with things differently. I'll explain that when you're leaving. Don't need to know for tonight.
Very good, sir.
My name is Rafat Duta, Primogen of Clan Tremere and the Keeper of Elysium. What is your own name?
Very nice to meet you, sir. My name is... They call me... Sorry, I'm just having a stutter thing.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm just gonna say that I do introduce myself and offer you a card.
Rafat will take it. So, please, you'll see the area's got there seems to be a counter area. There's one or two tables around the room. It's nothing terribly flashy. There's a TV and there's a stereo system. But that's about it. There's nothing, there's a fish tank as well, but there's nothing overly complicated or fanciful about the area.
Istvan will set down his bag, and then he will walk over and embrace Rafat in a really big hug.
Rafat will hug him back, nowhere near the same strength. Well, I think once Istvan lets him go, Rafat will go behind the counter and he'll take out two glasses and then he'll pour from blood bags. He'll turn to because I'm pretty sure Istvan will almost always want the alcoholic one. It's like he'll turn to Matthew Dodger. Like, would you like alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Non, please. I think now is a good time to keep my senses sharp.
Good. Well, this one for you, and he slides a non-alcoholic blood across to Dodger. Welcome to the city, and for Istvan, you did quite well last night.
Oh, it was very fun. I like it. Generalissimo was very tough. It's surprising.
Generalissimo, Uncle?
We overheard some of the Sabbat. Apparently, they have rather colorful names for each other.
I mean, he was not enough for Istvan, but Rafat fought very potent Lasombra. I was impressed. He fared very well.
If I had any sense, I would have left earlier, but well, I can't walk away when the sheriff is doing such things. We've got to keep him alive, don't we?
Oh yes.
I'm sure they don't make you a primogen for nothing. So that's just something right there.
My main skills aren't on the battlefield, but every member of the Cameron must be prepared to stand and fight. I'm sure there are some Tremere. There's often jokes made about Tremere I know who, and Ventru and other clans, and all clans. I'm sure there are jokes made about individuals who'd rather have the Brujah and the Gangrel fighting the front lines and all such things like that. But everyone has to be prepared to play their part, I think.
Uh,
Though I
I
can't
couldn't.
attest I have the same skill as Ispan or Eric Salvador.
Honestly, I don't think anyone could have the same skill as this man. This man is a
Uh,
man unto himself.
Salvador, he acquits himself very well as well. He was good. He always does well. He was not very fast, but he was surprising for him.
You might also want to keep an eye on as well. The Gangrel Primogen Creed. He's quite skilled, not with bladed weapons, with the disciplines of his clan, but he's a quite a skilled combatant. The previous night, he accounted for quite a number of the Sabbat.
I met him the other night. He seems like an interesting fellow.
That is, that is.
He approached me. He wanted to maybe make a coterie with me.
Yeah,
Each
excellent.
one, each one feels that perhaps he has sat too long without coterie, and he should pursue this. I'm not sure though.
I'm sure any coterie you join, Uncle will be a, a powerhouse in no time. If you'll pardon the pun.
This one will kind of shrug at that. I don't know, but it has been a long time in the city, and I feel as though perhaps I should be more active.
Well, it's always good. Nobody can say that you weren't active last night. But I think it would be good for yourself and Creed and a few of the others. There are many new arrivals who haven't formed countries. Now, the Lion's Mane, we've done quite well for ourselves, but I think we've reached that period where, as a coterie, I think our doors are closed. Unfortunately, at this stage, it's most of us are, well, many of us have reached particular stations which are quite demanding, so that
Oh yes.
don't function as we once did. I will miss the old days, but a lot of the old members are gone. But you can't say we haven't been successful.
No, I have great respect. He did very well. Does very well. Hmm. So, I want to speak with you
Yes, of course.
because I'm looking. What your clan charges for the enchantments?
Ah, yes, yes. What were you thinking of?
I know of the war. What is your price?
Now, fortunately, sorry, you're lagging there, so I think you're talking about the wards. Wards are enhancing weapon that way takes learning to do the enhancements takes an awful long time. Unfortunately, I myself cannot do all of those wards. Um, we were fortunate to have an elder of my clan here to help enhance the Elysium for its protection, but I can do at least one of the wards, not necessarily the one you would seek the most, but I can enchant it so that it would be more potent against ghouls, whether they be kine in origin or animal before they became ghouls. Not necessarily the most dangerous quarry against yourself, but every little helps.
Istvan will kind of tap his finger to his chin. Hmm.
Now, that's such a minor boon on that. No, not a minor one, sorry. Such a relatively simple chariot, but it takes time to learn. It would be a trivial boon.
Can you only have one ward on one weapon?
Oh, no, no, no. You can have more than one, but as I said, they are quite intricate. And I have not had. There are other. To put it bluntly, there are other rituals. That one is very. The other enchantments are very useful, admittedly, but there are things. Remember, as I said last night, in cleaning up a ritual to help cover up the masquerade. I'm more focusing on those for the moment.
Hmm.
But I do have a mind towards learning that one in the future, and when I do, or if I find out any of my members of my clan have learned such a thing, I'll let them know you might be interested.
I feel like Fixit told me she may be able to do it. I liked you more, so I wanted to offer to you first.
Oh, well, I'm not sure if Fixit is able to do the wards, but the do you mean such as the one I put on the blade I gave to the prince last night?
Yeah.
Ah, that. Yes, I can do that. That is relatively simple. Well, complex enough, but not as complex as a ward. Do you see the wards they are long lasting and permanent. The enchantments on the blades, how long they last for is a little bit indeterminate. But I can
Hmm.
perform such things on the weapon.
Um, at this point, though Matthew is saying very little, he's going to check and just see if Rafat might be sort of stacking the deck a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
If he's just trying to sort of eke out some kind of a better deal than he would otherwise get, kind of a thing.
yeah. You can roll your perception empathy.
So that would
Um,
be
if you've acute sense of sight or sound, or you're using heightened sense of aspects, does help.
perception. Is, let's see.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble finding things.
Yep, cool.
Which
So
one?
Kafak got 2 successes.
Perception would be 4, and then empathy.
Istvan's not
Oh, darn it. I'm sorry, I
rolling
can't
because he
find
just
my
assumes that
empathy all of a
Rafat will deal
sudden.
with him fairly.
Uh,
Yeah. So when you have it, one second, I'll.
sorry. I've got 4 in my perception, and I still can't find my empathy. Uh, self-control, instinct, no, that's not it. Uh, conscience,
You got
conviction.
a empathy. You've empathy 2, and you've perception of 4. So you're rolling 6 dice.
Okay. So,
Istvan is not rolling because he just
Yeah.
assumes that Rafat will deal with him fairly.
it's not necessarily meant that I'm assuming you're lying, it's just that on
You're being
PI.
careful. Yeah, that's fine. So we'll just.
That's not
Uh,
Istvan's thing.
yeah. Well, as I said, that one, although it is a. I suppose the difference to put into layman's terms is it's far more potent, but unfortunately the enchantment doesn't last as long, and you must be very careful with it. Obviously, it's very dangerous, and you wouldn't want to use it against anything except for beings such as the Sabbat and other threats of that nature. But if you want it, I can. Well, you did help.
I,
I would be willing to put it on a. You got 2 successes, is it?
yes, I
Um, it's a
think
little it's a little hard to get a read on him. You think he's being fair about it, but he's clearly used to just being guarded. So yeah, we got a draw, so defender wins. So yeah,
that's that's fair. I I forgot to ask you what the DC was anyway.
It's 6 as base, unless
Oh,
otherwise.
okay.
So that's very useful. You would have to be very careful with this. I would stress upon you that it is potential for, if this was used on a human, such things, it is a potential masquerade breach. So I just want you to understand that. However, I would inform that it would be a trivial boon for such a thing.
This one not. I do not have the weapon that I wish to do this on yet, but I think I will take your ghoul ward just in case. Um, and perhaps, Rafat, I'm not sure if you are interested. I'm not sure what weapon you have, but Istvan could work with you on new weapons, or maybe we could work on something else. My friend here is an investigator, and I think I would like him to learn some aspects. And I'm not sure if you're interested in martial prowess, but Istvan would be willing to teach you things to make you more martially inclined.
True. Well, I've got a conversation to have with the sheriff. I don't fully I'm not fully sure. However, I will be willing to teach Mr. Dodger. Um, However, I have to have a conversation with the sheriff first. We have to make some arrangements between the two of ourselves. Um, if he's if things go well, hopefully he'll be providing with some training in that regard. However, failing that, I will be willing to provide training in aspects for either a minor boon or two trivial boons, or if we come to some kind of other accord, as I said.
Istvan will not. These sound good. Talk to me after you speak with the sheriff, and if things do not go in the fashion you wish, then Istvan is willing to teach you to be stronger or faster or whatever you need.
Of course. No, I'm quite happy. I'm sure we can come up with some kind of suitable arrangement, one way or another, whether it be boons or training in other things. Or
Istvan
um,
will smile very big. And, yeah, it's good.
it's a useful discipline. It's I do encourage it, especially because you, well, as we saw yesterday, some of the Sabbat are skilled in obfuscation.
Yes.
There's other
Istvan,
uses.
Istvan accepts that he will not be learning this for some time. So I my pupil is an investigator, so this will only aid in what he does.
Excellent. Well, let's see. We might be able to compare some notes again at a future date. I might have a few tricks up my sleeve you might find interesting as well in other areas.
I'm going to look to Eastron to see if it would be okay for me to offer something on my end as well.
You are, of course, open to make your own arrangement with, the Primogen.
I There is something I would like to offer you, sir, in addition to what my uncle is so very kindly asking for on my behalf. If there is anything that I might be able to look into for you, I of course wouldn't mind doing this in lieu of say financial, since I'm only new here and haven't really had time to fully establish myself. But I do have skills and wouldn't mind helping you in some regard.
I'll have to keep that in mind. I will say to you as well, if any of your investigations at any point lead to Curtin University, that is Tremere domain, but I have a few connections there on the kind side. If anyone looks into things, I'm one of the assistant night managers. We all have to keep up appearances to some degree, but if any of your investigations lead there, let me know and we can proceed forward together. But
Of
at the
course.
moment, I'm more engaged towards other things, other enterprises, shall we say.
Of course,
But I'll keep you in mind.
I would never fathom to enter your domain without some kind of pre-authorization on your behalf. That would just be very rude.
Um, does our new friend have a domain yet?
No, he has not been granted domain by the prince, but Istvan thanks for his service in the battle. He will be taking the Trundling Wombats area, and perhaps he will grant his own personal domain to his protege.
Well, the prince might consider it, at least to some degree.
Yes, yes, yes.
But if it doesn't happen, if you run into any problems regarding hunting too much in an area, especially since currently I don't believe your own domain is particularly large. If you have any problems, because sometimes Iraq can get quite cluttered, I suppose you could say, with hunting. If you have any problems, let me know. I do have, well, we're in Line's main territory, but I've discussed Dressed Cold Dreams. Jameer territory has certain holdings, but I have personal territory. I don't hunt there very often. I just like to keep an eye on the south to a degree. If you have any problems, let me know. There's the blood here, and there's also my domain. I could give some feeding rights temporarily if needed.
Thank you. You are a good man.
Well,
Thank you
gentlemen.
very much. While he's thanking you, he's still going to be checking his
Yep.
instinct, you know.
Oh, gotcha. Add
Whoa.
that.
I
I had forgotten to roll dice last one. So yeah, he seems genuine. He's a little hard to get a bead on. He seems to be practiced at keeping his guard up to some degree.
that's fine.
But you don't think he's trying to, well, any more than you'd expect. Trying to manipulate you guys. He's not trying to like, yes, yes, I'll destroy you.
No,
Right.
it's mostly just that PI instinct is always
Yeah.
sort of there.
You might find as well in your future investigations, obviously, you should focus on aspects. But at your point, you might find, especially if you end up as a hound, I'm sure with well, through Isfan, you'll probably end up rubbing shoulders with the sheriff, and once things improve, you might end up as a hound. And,
I
well,
would be very honored to
Who
serve as a hound of this
do we
city.
have? Do we have any hounds or scourge? I have seen neither.
we do have a scourge. The
Oh,
scourge is Valiente. And, well, hound and scourge are different. When you don't see the scourge, perhaps they're doing their job quite well.
The Scourge
But
is pretty much the prince's royal executioner, isn't it?
to a degree, Scourge is there is that violent side on things. However, not that is not the entirety of a Scourge's job. Um, Scourges also have to a degree, keep an eye on the comings and goings of outsiders. Now, Perth is a large city, and we haven't accepted every single person who's wandered up, so we don't have every area covered yet. This is about we're able to move in, but within a night or two, it seems they had well, they'd started attracting our attention and suffered for it.
Given the circumstances of things, would it be safe for me to let down my surveillance of the park?
Um, which park do you speak of?
Well, I had actually asked Uncle Istvan to help me investigate. Sorry, let me just see if I can call up the.
Kings Park. Yes.
Ah, that is the Prince's domain. Please remember to double check with him.
Oh no, he already gave me permission to conduct
But if you're bringing in others, now be careful of that spot as well. Myself and
Oh, that's
Prince and a few of the others went in there.
that's also
That area is an old battleground.
I.
Not
Um,
one to be disturbed easily.
I was going to have Uncle Eastone check that while I was taking a look at the. I'm sorry, it's the part that starts with an S. I'm
Uh,
I'm actually
I
having a
Yeah, no problem. I'll check it because I know you've been your blue booking. Um, wait.
setting.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking. Um, I'm not sure about that park. However, that one doesn't seem to be in anybody's domain that I can think of off the top of my head. So there's no harm. But
I started to look into those as soon as that odd song came on the radio a few nights back. I was sort of worried that the Sabat might be using one of those as a staging ground of sorts or something.
it's possible. But they didn't. Although they may have been a little over boisterous and aggressive for their own good, they had some degree of subtlety, at least for the initial stages.
Hmm.
I'll have to be going, gentlemen.
Iswan will smile again. He will clasp Rafat heartily on the forearm.
Fred'll, well, he'll clasp it back, nowhere near the same strength level.
Right, obviously this one's not trying to like harm him or
Yeah.
anything. He's just like, yeah.
It's been a great pleasure, sir. And I'll extend a hand to you as well.
Fred will shake his hand as well. And before he leaves, he will write down the rules of the trench for Dodger for when he's coming next time, so he knows what to expect. I think we can end the scene there.
Sounds good.